Welcome to another episode of How to Raise a Mazel Mentch. This month's question touches on a great topic, especially for the month that we are in. Kids today grow up in a culture of so much excess that has become the norm that it's really hard for them to be appreciative of it and to really have a sense of gratitude. Children are constantly bombarded with messages of materialism and consumerism. So many commercials and billboards are intentionally designed to make them want every new toy or gadget out there. Wherever you go, there's a culture that says, you have to have this, especially if it's new, bright, shiny, and, of course, the latest model. Particularly around birthdays or gift-giving holidays like Hanukkah, children can understandably get caught up in the whole give me more and more mindset. And raising a mensch honestly requires putting this urge for materialism into context and not letting it take over a child's life. Remember, the objective is to move from being self-centered to other-centered, from being a taker to being a giver, to help children focus on their greater purpose and mission in life, which is not to have more stuff and more money. Stuff and money are a means to help you achieve your end goals, but it's not the end itself. And understanding this is crucial for menchhood. So, to begin with, it's important to raise children with a clear understanding and perspective of the difference between needs and wants. Yes, there are many things that we may want, but they are not needs, they are not musts, they're nice to have. And a need is always prioritized, but a want is something that we get sometimes, not always, and not too much. After all, the reality is that a need is a third world problem. It's basic. And a want is just a first world problem. We are the ones who teach our children what this means. We give them a perspective for life. Having the ability to not only have our needs met, but also our wants is something that makes us lucky. It's a gift. It's a blessing. It's not expected or required. In order for this lesson to truly be meaningful and real for kids, though, it has to permeate everything in their life. Walking that balance between needs and wants, consumerism, materialism, is modeled by a child's parents every single day. They're watching and they're learning. Sometimes we need to take a moment to think about our own personal beliefs about materialism and consumerism. What is excess? Think about how we might be teaching those values to our children on a day-to-day level. What are they learning? What are they seeing? Are we giving over what we really hope and dream of giving to our children in terms of this concept? And most importantly, kids have to see that practically they will have everything that they need, but not always everything that they want. And this sometimes means saying no to some of the wants. So here comes gift-giving season, and we want to buy presents for our children, and everyone in the family wants to buy presents for our kids. So here's some things to think about. Ask yourself, when choosing gifts for special occasions like Hanukkah, will the experience of receiving a gift, which is a really special moment of childhood, be just as special with a less expensive or a smaller item, or maybe just one or two, but not necessarily too many? And are there little things that I can do that are really inexpensive that can add to the gift-giving experience that will just make it more fun and exciting, like wrapping it in a special way or having a treasure hunt to find it? And in fact, it's actually okay to ask, does my child really need this extra gift, or am I already getting them something special? Of course, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a new toy that your child has been wishing for Hanukkah. That's for you to decide. But it's all about balance and figuring out what's the right way to convey the right values and messages about stuff to our children. Now, the opposite of greed is both appreciation for what one has, as well as a sense of compassion for those who have less and a willingness to share what you have with them. So if there are, for example, too many toys and stuff at home, which having that excess desensitizes children to appreciating what they have because it loses its value. There's just too much of it. They can't even appreciate it. So if that's happening, for example, at birthdays or special occasions or on Hanukkah, especially when kids get an overload of gifts from everybody, children can give some of it away to kids who need it. And they can choose those few to give to a child who is in need or is going through a hard time. And there are special programs that enable you to give gifts for kids who are ill or who are poor, such as Chai Lifeline has a toy drive right now before Hanukkah, or the Friendship Circle. And this way, the toys that the child ends up keeping for themselves are those that are really beloved and meaningful. And at the same time, they are learning to be a giver. Now, another idea that you can do that teaches the concept of giving all year long, not just around gift giving season, but already shifts their mindset to this concept, is the idea of tzedakah. So we've spoken before about how every child can have a little can in their pushka in their bedroom or near their desk, and they can put a coin in each day. And what happens is that this also heightens their appreciation of needs and wants, because we're explaining to the children that these coins are for people who don't have money for things that they need, like food or clothes. And when doing so, we are making the point that aren't we lucky that we have health, homes, clothing, food, toys, and we can help others with our tzedakah? This sense of gratitude is the ultimate antidote to greed. In fact, older children who have a personal allowance or who receive monetary gifts can be taught that 10% of their money can be given to those in need. And this is going to remain a lifelong lesson through adulthood, that the money that we earn is not only meant for ourselves to enjoy, but also for others, so that we can help make a difference in the lives of people who have less. It was so beautiful to see many of our MDS students contributing to our annual campaign from their own personal funds. And this desire to contribute reflects their blossoming understanding of the great gift of money as a tool to give, not only to buy things for ourselves. Something that we do with the kids at school is we have the children choose a cause for which their classroom tzedakah coins will go to. Each classroom has their own can and they collect. And then we'll do research for different projects or organizations and explain what they do to the kids. And then they get to pick where they're going to give it to. Now, this research experience alone exposes them to ideas that they didn't know about before. For example, when you're collecting for children in hospitals, or for organizations for people with disabilities that they hadn't known about, or for soup kitchens. Maybe they never heard of such a concept. Or collecting funds that help poor people with weekly groceries and knowing that there are people that struggle with that, or more. The most exciting part is that each organization will send a thank you letter afterwards to the child, no matter what the amount was that they sent in. And as you can imagine, getting that letter is really special. So, with careful thought, reflection, and planning, and most importantly, modeling, we can help our children learn to be kind, considerate givers, and appreciative of their gifts. Not only their Hanukkah gifts, but of all the amazing gifts that they have in life. So that's all for today. Shabbat Shalom, and we look forward to talking again next time more about how to raise a Mazel Mentch.